Today we shall look at the question of Homi ke Bhaba concept of hybridity, and the question is here: explain Homi ke Bhaba concept of hybridity and discuss its significance in post-colonial theory. Here is a model answer for that. Homi ke Bhaba's concept of hybridity is one of the most influential contributions to post-colonial theory, challenging essentialist notions of culture and identity. For Bhaba, hybridity is not merely a mixing or blending of two distinct cultures, but a dynamic and transformative process that occurs in the contact zone between the colonizer and the colonized. What is hybridity? Bhaba argues that cultural identities are never pure, fixed, or singular. Instead, they are constantly being formed and reformed through the process of interaction, translation, and negotiation. In colonial and post-colonial context, this interaction is particularly intense, leading to the emergence of hybrid cultural forms, practices, and identities. So it is beyond synthesis. Hybridity is not a simple synthesis where two cultures merge into a new harmonious whole. Rather, it is a more complex process that involves re-articulation of elements from different cultures, often resulting in something genuinely new and unpredictable. It's a third space that defies easy categorizations. A challenge to binaries. Colonial discourse typically operates through rigid binaries, that is, colonized versus colonizer, self versus other, civilized versus savage, authentic versus inauthentic. Hybridity actively destabilizes these binaries by demonstrating that the colonized subject is not simply a passive recipient of colonial culture, nor is colonial culture itself monolithic. Both are transformed in the encounter. It's also a site of resistance and innovation. Crucially, Bhaba sees hybridity as a site of potential resistance, subversion, and innovation. The hybrid individual or cultural form exists in a liminal space that undermines the authenticity of both original culture. This allows for new meanings, new identities, and new forms of agency to emerge, disrupting the power dynamics of cultural dominance. The colonizer's attempt to fix and control the colonized is always threatened by the emergence of new, unpredictable hybrid forms. Significance of post-colonial theory. Bhaba's concept of hybridity holds significant implications for post-colonial studies. Challenges essentialism and powerfully refutes the idea that culture and identities have fixed, unchanging essences. This was crucial for dismantling colonial discourse that sought to define and categorize colonized people rigidly. It also empowered marginalized by highlighting the generative and resistant potential of hybridity. Bhaba offers a more nuanced understanding of agency among the colonized. It moves beyond a simple victim oppressor binary, showing how subjects in marginalized position can actively create new meaning and identity. Reimagines cultural production. It provides a framework for analyzing how culture forms. Literature, art, music, fashion in post-colonial context are often characterized by their hybrid nature, drawing from multiple traditions and creating something unique. It also influences globalization studies. Beyond colonial context, hybridity has become a viable concept for understanding cultural mixing, diaspora, and identity formation in an increasingly globalized and multicultural world, where cultural boundaries are constantly being negotiated and blurred. In sum, Bhaba's hybridity highlights the dynamic negotiated, and often resistant nature of cultural identity, asserting that interaction between culture creates fertile grounds for new meanings and challenges to established power structure.